Hi guys, today is Monday, October 3rd, 2022, and I'm here to do my September WIP update. I tried to do it yesterday, and I just kept sneezing, and I thought, oh well, I'll just edit it out, but then it just became too much, and I was like, never mind, I'm going to start over, and then I tried to start over an hour or more later, and I was still sneezing, and I was like, never mind. So, I got some allergy meds today, so hopefully this will go better. Um, In fact, I almost didn't go to church yesterday because I was sneezing, and I thought, I don't need to be sneezing like during the whole service. And I did okay. I sneezed a couple times. I did okay, except during communion, you know, at my church anyway, you go up to the front to get the communion elements and you go back to your seat, and then we all partake together. And I'm sitting there holding my communion cup, and I sneezed, and my communion wine went all over the place, and I said, "Oh gosh," and when the people sitting around me heard me, and so when the service was over, they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I sneezed and my communion wine went all over the place. I ended up with wine all over my hand." And the pastor, after the service, the pastor goes to the back door and he greets everybody on the way out. And so I said, "I've been sneezing." I didn't tell him I had wine all over my hand, but I'm like, "I'm not gonna shake your hand." But and he was like, "That's fine." He's got a sick kid at home. He doesn't need more. Um, So anyway, on to stitching. Um, September was a good month. I did almost 4,400 stitches in September, which is the most I've done in any month so far this year. I've had some other months where I've gotten over 4,000, but this is the highest. I had to finish. I have a little bit of haul. I was kind of surprised at how little I actually bought this month. Um, and I have some plans and some categories, and so we shall get started. The first thing that I have here is the Three Things Sampler by Moira Blackburn. And September, of course, was Sampler September. I did not spend as much time on Sampler September as I may have liked. Um, but I did spend a little bit of time with it. I did 400 stitches on it. And so here is where it is. And I did some of this vine up here and around here. And I did these letters down here, the G, the H, the I, the J, and there's the top of the K. And I did this thing right here, but it's in the wrong place. It's going to have to come out. So I'm going to have to move it over. But I did 400 stitches. Um, this was on WIP Go to finish 2 pages. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. I've done like, this is like a tablecloth. I've done like 600 stitches on it this year. I'm not going to get 2 pages finished before the end of the year. I'm going to have to sort this out later because what a mess. So um, so I don't know if it's going to come back out this year. I'm not going to complete my WIP Go goal on it, but the next one that I have, this is also a WIP Go goal. So I made myself a little checklist of WIP Go goals that I think I can still complete this year. Like the 3 things sampler, I didn't put that on the list because I'm like, it's not really realistic that I'm going to do that. So I didn't put that, but I have several squares that I could still do. And so I made myself a little checklist so that I can remember I need to focus on these things and I need to be intentional about getting these things done. And this is another one. This is French Kitchen by Hands On Design and Summer House Stitchworks. And this is the one I'm doing. Some of my friends are doing some of the other ones. But I started with that one. And my WIP goal, this was a new start this year. And my WIP goal for all my new starts this year is 1,000 stitches. And so I had done not quite 300 stitches. And so I did 714 stitches to bring it up to 1,000 stitches. And there it is. And I have a problem. And if I had been thinking, I would have fixed the problem pretty easily, and I didn't do it. But I made a mistake over here in the bowl, in the greenery that's in the bowl, and I think I'm a column short. So when I get down here to the lettering and up here to the top, I'm gonna have to figure it out because I'm pretty sure I'm a column short. So, but that's what I have so far. And that one, this one, I finished the WIP goal. I wasn't really intending to bring it back out, but I might bring it back out for 100 or 200 stitches for categories, because I might need it for categories, but we'll discuss that later. The next thing that I worked on, these aren't in any particular order. These are in the order that they just happen to be stacked here on the table. My dog. There's my dog. I did 325 stitches on him, and I finished his face, except there's a couple of random stitches missing in his eye there. But I finished his face, and I'm onto his body. I'm a little bit concerned about his body, just that it's going to be a struggle. The face was fun, because it was fun to see it come to life, but his body is just a lot of blocks, big blocks of the same few colors, and then the grass. And so I think I might struggle with his body a little bit more than I did with his face. But there he is. My WIP goal for this is also on the list, is 5,000 stitches. And I'm at a little over 3,000, so I need to get moving and get some stitches in him. So he's on the plan for this month. And I'm going to try to put some stitches in him. Let me do this one next. This one, I worked on this a little bit last night. I did, this is Temperature Tree by Stitch and Mommy. And I'm behind because that's July, that is not September. Or October. This is July here, and there's August, and that little bitty branch at the bottom there is September. I worked on this, I did 300 stitches on this in September, and I had several days where I didn't feel like changing colors, and I didn't feel like doing 8 stitches and cutting and doing 8 stitches and cutting. I just wanted like one color and just go. And so that's how I ended up doing the August branch and the September branch, because that was the kind of stitching that I was looking for. I wasn't trying to be doing leaves. So, but last night I pulled it out and I started putting some more of the leaves on July. And I'm going to do some more today and try to get closer to caught up because I'm way behind. So there's temperature tree. This is by Stitch and Mommy on Etsy, and she's got all kinds of temperature charts. Okay, this next one, you've seen this one a lot this year. Under the Evergreen by Teresa Wensler. And I did not put any cross stitches in this month, but what I did is I started tackling the back stitch. So if you can see there, I think you can kind of see it. There's some back stitch on the gingerbread man and the bear and the blocks down there and the ball. And I started back stitching the gold trim on the wagon. I take this to work. I usually don't work on Teresa Wensler's at work because it's too much brain. It's just, it doesn't make a good work project. But back stitching, I can do at work. And the back stitch instructions are fantastic because it gives you the color 610 and it just has a list of everything that's back stitched in 610. So I just started at the top of the list. The first thing on the list is gingerbread men. I can do that. The next thing on the list is the bear. I can do that. The next thing on the list was the ball. I can do that. And then the blocks, and then the wagon. At some point, there's going to be the Jack in the Box, and I'm going to skip over that one because clearly I haven't done the Jack in the Box yet. But I just go down the list, and if I have it there that I can do, then I do it. And it's really easy. Down here on the blocks, I did the A and the C, but clearly I can't do this one because I still got to put more stitches in there. So I'll pick that up later. But if it's on here, if I can do it, I do it. So this month, I'm going to try to add some cross stitches to it. I'm not sure where. I think I might try to do like Royal Rose across here on the top. And then I'll take it to work in a couple of weeks and keep working on backstitch. Future Laurel will thank me for tackling the backstitch. So, and I'm probably going to go back to remember my goal for the year was 200 to 400 stitches a month. And there's been at least 2 or 3 months where I've done 1,000 or more stitches on this month. And I'm going to back off of that, and I'm probably going to just stick to 200 to 400 stitches, plus the back stitch. So I have too many other things to do and too little time to keep putting 1,000 stitches into that. But that's definitely on the finish list for next year. My finish, I gotta finish. This is my 7th finish for the year. I finished this on Saturday night. I did more than 2,000 stitches on it in the month of September. And I did 378 stitches on it on Saturday in order to finish it. And I finished Joy in the Journey. This is by Leisure Arts. It's designed by Diane Williams from Little House Needleworks. And I think this was before she had Little House Needleworks. And there it is. It's all done. And I finished it on Zoom with Margaret and Kate from Stitchy Aardvark on Instagram, and Cheryl at Blue Nose Stitcher on Instagram. And Kate and Cheryl together are Fickle Stitches here on FlossTube. And if you haven't watched them, you should. They're fantastic. They're hysterical. It's just a riot to watch them together. If you haven't watched them, go watch. So that was what I stitched on, and I did almost 4,400 stitches. Plans. Categories. Let's look and see what the categories are. Let's not look there. Let's look here. So, October categories, I was not thrilled. And I complained to Sammy, and Sammy was like, sorry, they spun what they spun. Um, yeah, this month's categories are really hard for me. And it's been a struggle to figure out what to do. So, the first category is seasonal, and I'll tell you where the problem is. The first category is seasonal, and the last category is holiday. I only have one project that fits either of those categories. It's under the evergreen. Is the only thing that I have that's either seasonal or holiday. And then the second category is small. I only have one project that's a small, which is French Kitchen, which is why it may come back out. So for right now, I put Under the Evergreen in the holiday category. I'm probably going to do a new start, like something small, Halloween. The one that I'm thinking is this one, Happy Jack by Whistle Stop Stitcher. That's the one that I'm thinking of. I also have Candy Corner of Mischief by Bent Creek. And I probably won't do that one. That's more than I want to do. But I was also thinking of the hands-on design costume party. So, but I'm probably going to do something small on Halloween to fill either the small or the seasonal, or maybe both. Somebody said, well, why don't you use your alternate? My alternate is Under the Evergreen, so that doesn't help. So that's where my struggle is I feel like I have two projects to fill three slots. So I could put the new start in seasonal. I could bring um, French Kitchen back out to do the small, or I could just use one of the projects for two slots. I don't know what I'm going to do. The third category is medium. I'm going to use Temperature Tree because I really need to get it caught up. And the fourth category is New to You, which I'm going to use Tomato, because that was my first hands-on design. So those are the categories. Seasonal, which may be Halloween, or maybe Under the Evergreen, or I don't know. Small, maybe Halloween, maybe French Kitchen. Medium is Temperature Tree. New to You is Tomato, and the holiday one is Under the Evergreen. So those are the categories. I have my checklist for WIP Go, and a lot of those pieces don't fit into the categories. So I lowered my goal on the categories. I had been putting my goal at 2,600, and I lowered it to 2,000 because I want to leave myself some extra room to put some other stuff in that I need to get done for WIP Go. I need to put some stitches on the dogs. I need to get Temperature Tree caught up. I need to put stitches on Illuminated Manuscript. I still need to finish two more smalls. I finished Joy in the Journey, so that's not a problem. But I just wanted to leave myself some extra room to do some other stuff. So I lowered my goal down to 2,000. I'll probably still do more than that because I need 500 stitches on Tomato alone. So to make WIP go, because again, it's 1,000 stitches for a new start. So Yeah, I'll probably still go over it, but and I need to catch up 3 months of temperature trees. So um yeah, so I think those are plans. I better get stitching. I have a lot to do. Um, haul. So my friend Joni had stitched something, and she had a few things, and I was like, "Oh, can we please that?" So she's like, "Sure." But Joni's allergic to the post office, so it was sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, and um, I hadn't forgotten about it, but I wasn't really expecting too much anytime soon, and so I hadn't checked my mail in several days because I have informed delivery, and um, it tells me what's in there, and I know all that's in there is ads and credit card offers, and so I'll go and clean it out just because it fills up. But unless I know that there's something in there, I let it sit there for a couple days. So I happened to check it on the way out of work, on the way out to work one morning, and there was this package in there that I wasn't expecting. Because usually informed delivery will tell me if there's a package. I've learned that informed delivery is not as reliable as I would like, but because like when I order from Sammy at Tiny Hummingbird, those don't show up on informed delivery. So I went out there and there's this package, and I'm like, it's from Joni. So Joni sent me my stuff, and what I had asked her for was Frank. This is Frank Bialik from Trading Spaces. But before he was on Trading Spaces, he and his wife were the designers for Mosey and Me. And so this is him. And Joni stitched him last year or the year before. And I was like, can I have that chart? So she sent it to me. And Frank passed away in the last year or two. And then um, she sent me the Redbird sampler from Bent Creek. And she sent me the Blackbird sampler from Bent Creek. And she also, I didn't ask for this one, but I think she sent it to me because it's Frank. Um, she sent me Frank Santa. And honestly, I'm not sure that I like this one. He just looks kind of weird. His eyes are weird. So, I'm not sure that I like this one. But that was what she sent me. So thank you, Joni. I'm going to make sure Frank makes it into my plans. And then I had sort of started thinking about this. There was this big craze about this a couple of years ago. Um, there was this big craze about this a couple of years ago. Several people started it. I don't know if maybe some of them have finished it. I don't know. I know of at least one that's maybe going to be UFO'd. But I was kind of thinking about it, and so um, I went ahead and grabbed it when I saw it come up. This is Nantucket Rose by Lavender and Lace. And then the last thing that I got was I got a bag from Vic. So it's a Halloween bag with the cats and the moon. I just thought it was cute, so I got that from her. So Vic at Stitch and Button still has a few slots left in her, at least as of this morning, or she still had a few slots left for her Christmas mystery bag. So if you want to get over there and order it, it's a $50 deposit. Actually, I think at this point you're going to have to pay the entire cost because she invoiced. I paid the deposit when it came out, and she invoiced me for the rest this morning. So it's $125. If you're going to order it now, I would plan to pay the entire amount. Um, but it's Stitch and Button on Facebook. Go over there and sign up because it's Vic. It'll be a lot of fun. She's already working on it. Um, so, you know, if you've bought from her, if you've seen her, you know she's going to do great. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And, um, do I have anything else? I don't know that I do. Oh, I do have one more thing. Friday, Kate at Stitch Yardwork was kind enough to remind me just a little bit ago that it's T minus 4 days until October 7th. EJ and I, and whoever else is joining us, I don't even know at this point who's joining us. Um, EJ and I are starting our Chatelaines on Friday night. I'm starting uh, Japanese octagon box. Here's my kit for my chatelaine in another big bag, but Japanese themed. I actually think the project would fit better in a bigger bag, but priorities, the theme matches. So, you know, uh, so I'm doing Japanese octagon box, and EJ is doing Alhambra Garden. Um, Anna Forrest said she was going to stitch along, and Sarah at our Stitching Kingdom said she was going to stitch along. Vicky at Reading and Stitching may or may not join us. I'm not sure what she's going to decide. But Friday night, October 7th, Laurel and EJ. We're going to be on Zoom on Virtual Stitchers. So I'm kind of scared. And I think EJ is too. It's just, people keep saying it's one stitch at a time, and it is, but it's a big project, and it's a lot of new things and a lot of just, yeah, it'll be fine. I think on mine at least, the scene with let me show you, because then at least it'll make more sense. So there's the Japanese octagon box laid out flat. And so the scene up here with the mountain and with the cherry blossom trees, whoops, is all, I think that's mostly cross stitched. But I think these blocks down here at the bottom and the top of the blocks up there, I think that's where all the specialty stitches are. I think the scene itself is mostly cross stitch. So, um, so that'll be okay, but it's intimidating, and that's why it's been sitting there. I've owned this kit for years and years, and yeah. So stay tuned. Stay tuned to the Sunshine Stitchers next week. Um, yeah. And I'm sure EJ will be posting about it on Instagram and in the Sunshine Stitchers group. So Friday, October 7th, Laurel and EJ Chatelaine. Um, so I had made so when we decided to do that, and we set the date for it back in August, I had I had gotten a feeling, and I'm still feeling this way. It hasn't really changed. I've been feeling kind of overwhelmed with the amount of projects that I have, and then we're starting the Chatelaine, and then for Vic's birthday in November, we're starting a Bella Filipina, and I've just been feeling kind of overwhelmed. Like I have so much going already, and then I'm gonna add these two big projects to it. And I actually changed the Bella Filipina that I'm gonna do to a smaller one because the one that I had originally chosen, I'm like, I'm not trying to add something that big. I'm just feeling kind of like I need to stop. Um, so um, I had decided, um, I had said when we set the date, I'm like, I want to finish Join the Journey before we start our shadowing. So then at least I'll have one project clear, you know. I'm starting two projects, at least I'll have one other project off my plate. And I kind of went back and forth with Margaret about whether or not I was going to make it. But I made it. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. And then I was like, oh, maybe I will. No, maybe I won't. But I made it. And I made it like a week early. I wasn't here on Thursday night going, oh my gosh, I got to finish this because we're starting tomorrow. So I made it. I got my shadow, or I got my Joy the Journey done. Um, I thought I would reward myself with starting the Halloween one, and it just made me feel panicky rather than excited. So I'm like, no, let me not do that. Maybe later in the month I'll do that. But I'm just, yeah, I'm feeling overwhelmed, so I'm not trying to be starting stuff. Um, I'm trying to be finishing my WIP goals and my categories and finishing projects for, cleaning up what I can for next year. Um, Margaret and I, Margaret and I are crazy. Margaret and I have a bunch of starts planned. Um, Margaret is talking about doing a startathon, so I'm trying to kind of clean my plate off a little bit so that I have some room to do some other stuff. But at this point, I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I'm not trying to be. Yeah. So that's where I am. So I will start my shadowing, but otherwise, I'm going to be trying to catch up my temperature tree and trying to make some progress on some of this other stuff. Um, and maybe, well, I don't know if I'm going to finish tomato. I'm not going to promise that. Maybe if I get moving on it, I will. Um, I kind of struggled to stitch on it. It hasn't been as enjoyable a stitch as I would have hoped. But maybe if I get moving on it, I'll finish it this year. Otherwise, I'll finish it next year, and that's fine too. Anyway, enough of me babbling. Um, one quick life thing. Last month, I had mentioned August was a rough month. There were, several people that I love lost people. My friend lost her mom, and my other friend passed, and my other friend lost her husband. And I had mentioned that my friend was getting ready to lose her husband. I didn't know this. I talked to her a couple of days later, and he had already passed by the time I made my video. So pray for her. She's going through a rough time. It's a rough thing to lose your spouse, and I know some of you know that from experience. And so I need to check on her. I'll do that tomorrow. But she's in for a rough ride. But anyway, other than that, work is still work. Um, Still working half from home and half in the office. Still doing some stitching and yeah. So I hope you guys are having a great fall. We've made it to fall and or spring if you're in the southern hemisphere. And I will see you guys next month. Happy stitching. Bye.